Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you can round to the nearest 10 while using a number line. And we're going to go really big, and we're going to do a number that is a 3-digit number. And we're going to try and round the number 232 to the nearest 10. So in a minute, you're going to get a chance to do the same thing. You're going to be able to use this number line just like I'm using here. But there's a little bit of a problem here because this number line only goes up to 30. So what we can do to help that is that we can change the number line settings. And so you're probably going to have to do this too, so make sure you're paying attention. So to change the number line settings, you click this button right here that has the gear, and it has a little mini number line above it. And this is where we can change the settings. This is fine. Yes, we want whole numbers. We're not dealing with fractions yet. And I think I'm going to change it to start it at a different number. And since I'm looking for 232, I'm going to start it with a number that is a bit lower than 232. I might do 220, just so I can have a good range. And so let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think that works. So you can keep the spacing the same too. So I'm going to find 232 on my number line. And we're going to try and find out which 10 it's closer to. How would we round this to the nearest 10? So let's think about that. If we started at 10 and then we kept on counting by tens all the way up to this point, where would we eventually hit that? Where would we land on before we get to 232? Well, I see we have 230 here, and that is the nearest 10 to 232. So I'm going to put a little dot there. We want to remember that. But I think let's double check. Let's think if it would be the 10th place that we would hit after 232. So let's see what that one would be. Well, if we kept on counting by tens, we would also hit 240. So it looks like 230 is a lot closer to 232 than 240 is. So I think we can safely say that 232 rounded to the nearest tens is 230. And when you're rounding 3-digit numbers to the nearest 10, don't get thrown off by the fact that it's in the hundreds. You can pretty much just ignore the hundreds place if you want to, because all we're worried about is rounding to the nearest 10. So you don't really even need to worry about the hundreds place very much. Just like with your steps, you can just find the place value or find the rounding place, which is the tens place since we're rounding to the nearest 10. And then we look at the 1 to see if we round down or round up. And in this case, 232 in the ones place has a 2. So that means we round down to 230. And so if you're ever stuck, a number line is a great way to check and see if your rounding is correct, because we can very clearly see that 232 is much closer to 230 than 240. So we know we would round down to 230.